G'day, Paul from Democast Media, helping you get the picture and make an impact with visual communications. So today I just want to share what I've been learning over the last few days about unified communications. This is just for the purpose of documentation and doing this more often. So I was reading an article today that Microsoft is officially moving away from Skype for Business and going to Microsoft Teams. At this phase of the journey, this is now having internal stakeholders start moving away from Skype for Business, and this has been on a voluntary basis, and now it's making it an official transition. A couple of things I'm learning from that article. So this is as of the 8th of November. The two things to help with that transition. One was the transition team were creating snackable videos, as they called it, small tutorials to help people understand how to use that interface, because it seems like Skype for Business is around for so long internally. It's an end of an era, as the article was saying. So those snackable videos will help in that transition. The second thing that's helping them there is having around over 800 internal champions who have been using Microsoft Teams for some time now. That seems to be a critical component in this transition period. So they have people who can answer their colleagues' questions. And I think that's a really important thing to consider when you're trying to implement a new unified communication tool. You need to have internal champions who know how to use it, can answer other colleagues' questions, so that it doesn't die an early death. So that's really important. Now, a couple of things that I was also learning today in this research of mine is that this move towards Microsoft Teams, it seems to be in response to, or in my opinion it's a response to a trend towards team messaging. So as at a social level, we as a culture, as a society, have become more accustomed to messaging as a way of communicating with friends and family and colleagues, things like Messenger, WeChat, WhatsApp, text messaging, those sort of things, where it's asynchronous. You can send a message when it suits you. It's all the communication is in one thread. You can pick up where you left off. That type of communication, which is now sort of just the mainstay of how we communicate with others, that seems to be bleeding over into the workplace, and that preference for communicating in that fashion seems to be rising. And Microsoft Teams lends itself to team messaging. Microsoft Teams is competing against Slack, which does the same thing and also uses video to collaborate. It has more and more of the functionality from Skype for Business will be moved over to Microsoft Teams. So this drive for messaging seems to be a really important trend that I'm seeing moving into the business environment. And so Microsoft, this strategy is I believe partly in response to that. And so, which begs the question, how long will it take for businesses to catch up to this thing, to really embrace these tools, and to not just rely on email to collaborate with others, but making it more real time and learning how to use these tools. More and more companies and employees will be demanding the use of unified communications in the way they operate, and especially when we're moving into an economy where people want to work more flexibly, or using of remote workers, using outsourced workers. You need to have a robust set of unified communication tools, and learning how to use that, and learning to understand the infrastructure that's required to make these things work, having enough bandwidth, dealing with legacy systems, and then being able to integrate that with the cloud. All these considerations are important if you want to make use of video or team chat messaging screen share, all that kind of stuff. So that's just what's on my mind over the last few days as I've been really digging into articles about unified communications and my desire to leverage visual communication in the workplace to get things done easier, more frictionless. Anyway, that's on my mind. That's just what I've been studying about. So if you want to learn more about this kind of thing, I signed up to this newsletter called, I think it's searchunifiedcommunications.com, I believe. But yeah, it's just been really eye-opening to see these tools all coming together, and that there is a framework behind it. And I'm really excited to see that framework does exist, and I think it is kind of a mainstay within the IT field. I'm not in IT, but I like the things that I'm learning about to understand the framework that underpins visual communication in a business setting. I need to understand, and I'm learning more about unified communications and what's required. And so that article has just added another layer of my understanding. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a like. But honestly, I'm just documenting whether you like this or not. But it's helping me to learn. But yeah, feel free to share your comments about the use or the transition away from Skype for Business to Microsoft Teams. Have you tried Microsoft Teams before? Do you like it? Do you prefer Slack or something else? Which I think Spark from Cisco is another alternative to that. So anyway, I'll leave it to that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.